All right, time for another exciting edition of Shop Talk Saturday. Today I'm going to talk about how to package a saw for sending in because Mick has been asking for this for a while and other guys have too. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And also, just so you know, I had a guy comment on trying to maybe take some notes and keep things a little more concise. I did. I'll tell you, this is actually way more difficult than you think. This is my third take of this. But anyhow, I'll do my best, okay? So, number one, keep it clean. Take your top covers off. If you don't have an air compressor to blow it out, take a stiff brush or something like that. Maybe a little solvent like Purple Power or brake cleaner or something like that to clean the gunk and the gook off of it so it's clean enough for me to do my work. If I get one in and it's super dirty and I have to spend a lot of my time cleaning it up in order to go in and do sensitive engine work, I'm going to charge you for it because that's not time I had planned on trying to do your saw. So I hope this goes without saying, but empty it out. Empty your borrow, empty your gas out. I've seen a lot of guys take like paper towels and tuck them in both reservoirs just to catch any like little drops and stuff that might still be in there. I usually leave the gas cap off for a couple hours before I send them just so that like any natural evaporation can get those out. And then with that, I put them inside of a couple of garbage bags, just El Cheapo, like Dollar Tree garbage bags. I like the scented ones because that helps like cover up any additional gassy smell or anything like that. So it's just the way I do it. But what that does is contain any mess. So if you happen to have a little oil leak out of like your oil pump, just in natural, gravity or the pressurization in a plane, stuff like that, it doesn't leak all over the box. And then you have UPS handling a box going, oh, what is this? Is this hazardous? And so, anyhow, and then put it in a box. Don't use plastic totes. Don't use the cases that your saws came in. Plastic, it's 70 degrees outside today. It will absolutely shatter. I've seen it happen. Thankfully, it's never been so bad that one didn't get delivered. But I could very easily see somebody feeling guilty and being like, sorry, it got lost in delivery or something like that. So don't use plastic. Use a cardboard box. Use a reasonable size cardboard box, just big enough for the power head itself. Do not send bars and chains. If it helps, you can take the handlebar off to make a little less space if that's something that you're comfortable with. Same with your dogs. You can take those off if you want, especially like the big West Coast dogs. Those add a lot of length. With the dogs themselves, they need to be protected. So whether that's a block of wood, a big piece of styrofoam, several layers of cardboard, something like that to keep them from poking through. Because if you have big old dogs poke through the side of this thing, they may flag that as a hazardous thing too. Haven't had it happen, but just saying, protect yourself. And then also with the box, make sure that it's a box that is capable of being sent. Don't use some flimsy stuff. Don't use anything that was hazardous. I had a guy, I'm not going to mention his name because it was innocent enough, but he sent me a brand new MS-462 in a fireworks box, and they confiscated it because it was hazardous / explosive. And he got it back. I think he had to drive to go get it, but it was a real pain. So, no like boxes of oil or anything flammable, etc. Just a regular old box that you can buy from Walmart or one that you got from Amazon and something else, stuff like that. So then put a note in the box with your name, your contact information, cell, all that kind of happy jazz. What you're having done to the saw, if you're having accessories and stuff put on it, so that I know when I get to it who I'm dealing with, and use your name. Okay, if you put McSpeedy's Tree Service on there and you actually contacted me under Matthew, I have no idea who McSpeedy's Tree Service is. So, and if there's a problem, you got a scored piston or a bearing going out or something like that, and I need to get a hold of you, I need to know who I'm dealing with to contact. Okay, so put a note in the box. Who am I going to use for a carrier? I would tell you UPS. It's who I use 100% of the time. I find that they are the most reasonable in terms of cost, reliability, and speed. You can use FedEx if that's all you have available to you, but they're going to be more expensive. Remember, they charge by the size and weight of the box. So that's why I say size is important too. You can use the post office if you want, but I like the joke that goes around about like, hey, if you trust the post office, mail yourself a $100 bill and see if you get it back. That, and in my shipping software, it lists the cost for everything, and they are always the most expensive. I've seen guys say they have some tips and tricks to get around that. I don't care. I have a really good UPS guy. That's who I use. You do what you want. Insurance. You can put as much insurance on it as you feel like you want, but make sure that it's justifiable. If something were to happen, which I've never had somebody's saw get damaged or whatever else that I've had to, go file a claim for or anything, knock on wood, but it's got to be justified. You can't say that you had a $6,000 MS500 in there because they won't pay out on it. Conversely, you can't say that you had Princess Diana's last hanky in there and it was worth a bunch of money either. You've got to be able to prove what it's worth. I don't care if it was your grandfather's 026, it's not worth $3,000, okay? So it's got to be reasonable and justifiable. I put enough insurance on to cover anything that I would otherwise not be okay with eating out of pocket if something were to ever happen. But remember, guys, this is a chainsaw. You guys bang around in the woods with it all day. It's pretty stout. Worst case scenario, a handlebar gets bent up or a top cover or something like that. And, we've got to replace some stuff, but nothing that, say $500 wouldn't cover. So, and then lastly, do not require a signature for delivery. Do not require a signature for delivery. I live out in the middle of nowhere. If I happen to miss UPS or I have a new driver or something like that, and I've got to go after the package, that's a lot of time out of my day that I wasn't planning on and that I could have been doing something else. So do not require a signature for delivery. Other than that, it's pretty basic, guys. Just package it up. And if you have questions, otherwise, feel free to message me or stick them in the comments. But that's about it. So hope that helps.